We all want our favorite sports teams to get younger and faster every day. Launch agencies have to do the same. We have to get younger. We have to get faster. We have to streamline our processes, and we have to become more efficient to compete.
Well, welcome to the Connected Conversations in Insurance podcast. My name is Ray Huang. I'm the head of marketing here at Canopy Connect. I've got a great guest today. I'm excited to have him. Kevin Spann. He is an insurance agency owner out of Queens, New York. Yes, Queens, New York. He's a seasoned insurance professional, transitioned from a successful sales and leadership career, owns 5 Allstate Insurance agencies since 2007. Your bio said you achieved all the awards that they have to offer at Allstate, which is amazing. You always got to have a positive mindset. You're adaptable, team building, and embracing that digital innovation as evidenced by your amazing social profile. You're doing your podcast. Guy, you do so many things. You're also an author recently, right? The Property Insurance Bible, which is Bible, B-I-B-L-E, Better Insurance Before Losing Everything.
Yes.
I love that. And you're also a mentor and coach. And I am so thrilled to have you here. Kevin, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Ray. Excited to talk to you. Love insurance, very passionate about the journey, and love working with you guys. I love the innovation that you guys have brought into the insurance industry that makes my job and many insurance agents around the country our job greatly.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey here, right? Looking back, what initially drew you to the insurance industry and into agency ownership? And let's go from there.
Good stuff. 22, 23, had my first child a week later. I needed a job, a real job, unlike the city job that I had. I needed a real job, and there was a book that I read, 2 books. I think they still come out in new editions today. One is called What Color Is Your Parachute?, where you learn about what industries hire people. My degree is in criminal justice, basic liberal arts degree, not very specific. So I learned that insurance was one of those fields that gave people a chance. And I was able to break into Allstate after the 3rd interview. I rejected the first 2 times, but by the 3rd interview, I got in and fell in love with the business. Started as a life underwriter trainee, but really learned the whole business, the whole insurance field from the bottom up.
Nice. So that's how you got your foot in the door. Is there a pivotal moment where you went from, in the insurance business to agency ownership to like, hey, this is a career, right? I think at first you're like, I need a job. I got a baby on the way, right? At some point it goes from a job to a career. So tell me about that inflection point.
Funny story. I probably was 3 months into my job to go with my manager to a sales meeting to talk about completing a life application. Very manual process. Agents sold life insurance applications on paper at the time. And anything you do manually, you make a lot of mistakes. So my job was to go into the meeting, promise the agents and the sales leaders if they completed the applications correctly, we would issue them for them quickly. However, the meeting started off with a sales promotion where they talked about if agents achieved this goal or wrote this amount of business, they would win trips. So right away, I realized I was on the wrong side of the business. It took me 20 years to get from where I started to begin buying agencies, but that was the first thing that whet my appetite, just to know that work that you did, not only that could lead to income where you could make a life, become a homeowner, be a good dad, things of that nature, which was always first and foremost to you, but there were extras in it for doing a good job. So from day one, when I joined the industry, I was always studying agents. How do you become one? How do you find business? How do you sell these policies? It's kind of foreign to me. I never sold anything before. And how do you provide good service to people? And each of the agents that I serviced from a life insurance standpoint, they all became friends and mentors to me because I would ask them questions and be like, hey, Ray, we took care of the life application that you wrote, but by the way, it's 2 days after Christmas. How'd you get these signatures? And they would tell me what they did to influence and convince people at times of the year that you think no one would want to buy anything, but
Hmm.
they did it, and they did it the old way without technology, in front of people, at the kitchen table,
Yep.
awnings, and difficult neighborhoods. And I was always fascinated by it. I think I'm fans of insurance agents as much as I'm a big fan of sports. I really love the lifestyle and the crazy process that goes behind marketing and finding business and taking care of people and delivering on the promise. So it's both sides. It's not only the benefits that come from this business, but it's really taking care of people. And in my 3+ decades, I've had a chance to deliver on the promise, every aspect of it, from home insurance claims to auto claims to life insurance claims. I've had the pleasure, mixed emotions of delivering on the promises that we sell.
Yeah, like thinking now through your career there, beyond the general operations, the day to day, how do you ensure that one of your agencies is successful, let alone five, right? And do you operate them as one
One
umbrella?
entity, yes. So the five agencies, I've purchased five agencies over my 18-year tenure as an agent. They're all merged in one location. They operate as one location. And we lead by hiring good people and having a good leadership team. I have three managers that work with me to run the agency day to day operations. And we do what we need to do to make sure we're successful in both the quantity side, the amount of business we need to write, the quality side to make sure we're writing business compliantly, and scale side. We're always looking to grow with whatever hand we're dealt to find a way to win in the environment that we're in.
Got it. Talking about operations and systems and playbooks,
Mhm.
agency efficiency is key in all of this. So, can you walk us through maybe a key operational playbook or systems that you utilize, and how does technology influence those
Okay.
operations?
So I would say the key system that we have now is just thinking digitally so we can grow digitally. What does that mean in plain language? The last 5 years, the whole world has changed post pandemic. Everyone learned to work from home. We all are Zooming or doing various
Hmm.
things online that we didn't do at this frequency pre 2020. We all are ordering more on Amazon than we ever did before. And with that, customer expectations change. People expect fast, friendly service, and they expect to be able to get it done online. So, whether that's an agent having an up to date website or being found on Google or using tools such as use Canopy so I can interact with you digitally, unlike years ago where, Ray, I live 35 miles from my office, but it's an hour and a half drive each way.
Yep.
If you can imagine how much disappointment being in Queens, New York, one of the boroughs. Anyone listening to this around the nation, think of the sitcom King of Queens, very congested, one of the five boroughs of New York City, home of the New York Mets, home of the U.S. Open, is done there. Even if you are a mile or two away, it's a half an hour drive to get to my agency. So why
Yep.
don't, because when I thought and operated like a retail agent, all of my marketing was, Ray, how can I get you to come into my office so you can sit side by side on my desk? I can show you a brochure. I can tell you all the features and benefits of the policy, and hopefully you'll buy.
Yep.
Today, it's an experience, or 5 years ago, I realized it's something I didn't enjoy doing, and I couldn't lead my agency that way. So I began to think digitally and grow digitally. You still have to market, you still have to generate leads, but I have to do it the way the rest of the world is going. And what are those tools that can help me? So I've kept my eyes and ears open to all of the processes that make that easier for customers. So talking about your tool, Canopy Connect and the links, the vision that you guys had to create something that helps all insurance agents, it's phenomenal. Prior to Canopy Connect, I would need to have you on the phone or in front of me. I'd be asking you the 17-digit VIN number for your cars. My handwriting's pretty bad. I probably would mess it up and ruin the quote and have
Yeah.
to call you back a few times. But with you guys, it's a text or an email. I get the full policy jacket back, the deck page back from the customer, and I see everything I need to put together an accurate, competitive proposal to give that client the best insurance at the best rate that I can.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. Our founder, Tolga Tezel, when he started his like genesis of the company was him talking to his friend's mom, who was an insurance agent, over dinner. And she was saying, I was trying to get insurance information from this prospect. I ended up just frustrated, drove to their house, got on their computer, helped them log in, find their deck page, email it back, and then drive back to the office so that she could finish the quote, right? So it definitely resonates here, your story. I mean, I think she was more suburban, so probably didn't have to deal with 4 hour commute, but
Yes.
it's always a great, like, I love that story because we saw a real problem, like it was a tangible problem. He goes, oh, I could solve that digitally,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then he went off and did his thing on a weekend, and we started Canopy Connect, and everyone's getting used to it. People always had thoughts about like, oh, people don't know how to do their email, people don't access their email, people don't know how to get into their carrier, they don't know their passwords. Like a lot of that's gone. Like your 80-year-old grandma knows how to use Gmail.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone's, but a lot of them do. Like you'd be surprised. So
I would
it's all
also
there.
say, if I can add to it, that 80-year-old grandmother is also on social media. They're also
Yeah.
FaceTiming with their grandkids, and they want to be efficient as well. So I think a lot of time when agents say what people can, I think they have a mirror in front of themselves, and they're
Yeah, I
thinking
agree.
about how
I
they
agree.
struggle with technology, and they're not giving people a chance. So one of the other processes we do with our seniors, and we've been doing this, I give post-pandemic credit to the pandemic, is that we had to learn how to service everyone online. Forget new business. We
Mhm.
had to learn how to service our customers. We had to learn how to take care of people that were used to coming into the office with money orders and cash and do it all over the phone. And then we had some people, and I think every agent can relate to this. We all have seniors that are alone, that don't have a tech savvy son that can create a product for you. So we begin to ask questions like, who's the neighbor? Who's the member of your senior citizen group, your church that helps you with other things? They say, well, that's Johnny, or that's the girl in the deli across the street. Well, can you have her come over tomorrow so we can talk her through helping
Oh,
you
that's
make
great.
this payment?
Yeah.
We really learn from necessity. We really learn to be able to service them and just to keep our existing customers. And we're like, hey, this stuff would work on the new business side as well. We just have to be extremely patient. And when someone that barrier, I don't know, we help them with it. We ask the next question and the next one. We don't accept it. Some people, they thank us to this day because not only are we helping them with their insurance, we're helping them adjust to the digital age so they can do other things like shop online or go to their church service online on a Zoom. We've helped them, we've coached them into that space so they can feel comfortable in this
Yeah.
brave new world.
Yeah. Love it. And excellent about, bringing together community of your neighbors or, helpers that can help your clients. That's a good segue to community in general. How do you feel community and networking play into your success, and kind of how do you foster some of those connections?
It's everything. It's everything. There's an old saying, not mine, that says you can get anything you want if you help enough other people get what they want. So I've always led with community. When I opened my agency in Middle Village back in February of 2007, I didn't know anyone in town. In my business planning, as a father of three sons who are involved in sports, I said to myself, I said, this is something I can just relate to. I know that to play sports, doesn't matter what sport it is, that there's money involved. I know a lot more about fundraising for youth sports than I do about insurance. So I got involved with Little League Baseball. I offered to sponsor a baseball team for a few $100. And when I went to take my check, this is 2007, so not very digital, I go into this Ridgewood, Middle Village, Maspeth Little League that's been around for 50 years. And I met the people that run it. And I gave them a small check, $400. I was the sponsor of one of the teams, but that ingratiated me to the community. And from softball to Relay for Life, the fight against cancer, to the most recent sponsorship that we're involved with now is a local gentleman in the community started a hockey league in an urban area. Um, and came by looking for sponsorship. We're predisposed. We say yes to everything in the community. And it's transcended to so many other things from saying yes to that. The second time he comes to visit, he says, "Oh, yeah, Kevin, I'm the president of the Middle Village Property Owners Association. Would you ever like to come and talk to the group?" Yeah, would love that. That would be helpful. It comes back a year later. By the way, Kevin, can you use some college interns to work in your agency? Yes, I can. Matter of fact, I had a meeting with the host from the college. Two interns have done a fast job, and they've helped us with the transformation and going digital as well. I will not mislead anyone. I am not a high tech person. Conceptually, I get the need to be faster and better than I was yesterday, but my criminal justice degree from 19 is no more applicable to me now. It doesn't give me the skill, but I get the concept. The comparison I draw is this, Ray. We all want our favorite sports teams to get younger and faster every day. Well,
Yep.
insurance agencies have to do the same. We have to get younger, we have to get faster, we have to streamline our processes, and we have to become more efficient to compete.
Yep. Love that. You've been doing a podcast. I think that came up. It's called Wind Down with Kev.
Yes,
That's more of a business community oriented podcast, right?
yes.
And how's that? You started that around pandemic, sort of like a lot of podcasts, right?
Yeah, that was
More into the pod.
the beginnings were just therapy for me. So it wasn't as
Yeah.
business oriented as today. I'm used to a person that was used to having at least two networking meetings in a week on my calendar,
Yeah.
somewhere, whether it was coffee or afternoon beverages and getting together with realtors or mortgage brokers or speaking at a co-op or a condo association. That was my life in office and networking to generate more new business for my office. When that was taken away, I sat right here in my home office where I am today, and I looked across at a bank white calendar board on my wall, and I had no appointments, had no place to go to, and I had no idea when I'd be outside again. And I was working with a social media coach at the time, and she said to me, "Why don't you start a podcast?" So 5 years ago, I didn't know what it was, so I started just with talking to some business connects about how they were adjusting, what they were doing to pivot. And fast forward to earlier this year, I started pursuing doing 50 podcasts with 50 agents from 50 different states. And it's phenomenal. We are 70% done. We've completed 35 as of this point. We released one
Man.
podcast a week on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and podcast platforms everywhere. And it's phenomenal. The conversations are amazing. Just talking to different agents, different parts of the country and the risks that they face. It shows you the value of the local agent and why you need a
Mhm.
local agent versus a direct or 1-800 number to write your policy. And I'll tell you two funny stories just from this past Thursday. I was speaking to an agent in New Hampshire, and she took me on a journey to the top of a mountain. I want to say it's called White Mountain. It's 6,000 feet in the air. She was up on the mountain visiting with friends that wanted a beautiful view of New Hampshire. And she said the winds were 80 miles per hour, and literally she had to hold on to her small children so they wouldn't be blown away. And we opened it that way. And I said, "My God, we're going to finish this thought, but I can imagine the insurance implications with that kind of wind." And then in the same day, I spoke to another phenomenal agent out of Montana, Yellowstone, who told me a story of the mountains in Montana and the wild animals like elk and deer and bear and big things that I don't get to see in New York that present a whole different set of risks from the top of a
Sure.
mountain. So that's what I've enjoyed about the podcast. Great people, phenomenal people that we've had a guest, and encourage anyone listening to this, viewing this, to follow the podcast at Wind Down with Kevin to hear those stories. But the value of the local agent is priceless, not only because of their unique knowledge of their geographical area, but what they all do in their communities as well. Blows me away. Blows me away.
That's a fantastic thing to get perspective, right? We get so tied up in our own echo chambers sometimes,
Mhm.
being able to hear what's happening in Montana, New Hampshire, Utah, Hawaii, Arizona. Like everyone's dealing with some stuff that's unique to that area. If you weren't from there, you wouldn't even blink an eye at.
No, no.
love what you're doing there. You're the mission that you're on to hit 50. And I mean, I'm curious when you get to Alaska and like, I don't know anyone in Alaska. So
I have that podcast is coming up with the 4 states that you named. I've already recorded Hawaii,
yeah,
Utah, those states, Arizona. I've recorded all of them and I've heard the stories. And
yeah,
the shocking thing for me with my tenure, and I readily admit it, that if I were to go national or represent a national brand, I do not have the knowledge base to service the local area. I've learned things that you mentioned my book, The Property Insurance Bible. I make no reference in the Property Insurance Bible to Tornado Alley and all the states in the South and the Midwest that are
yeah,
affected by those tornadoes. I make no reference to the winds and the top of mountains in different places. So when I'm done, maybe there's a need for a revised edition to
there
clean
you
some of
go.
that up and emphasize even more the value of the local agent, their expertise, what they know, and how they uniquely protect those customers in that area. And where you guys fit in this space, Ray, is that without being able to use your tool to access those declaration pages to see what's missing, they don't know whether they have the proper wind coverage. They don't know about the deductibles, and the customers don't know. So
Yep.
this, but when that local agent gets access to the tool, and they're not just talking about price, that this one's $1,100 and this one's $1,200. No, there's not $100 difference in price. That's insignificant, relatively speaking, but there's a massive difference in coverages. But in order to tap into that, you need to see the information to see where the difference is so you can, give people proper advice.
Yeah. And that's where I think the value of a good agent, a good advisor comes into play, right? Like it's easy to go online and check a few boxes and say, this is what I need and this is what I get. But is it the right coverages? Is it what you actually need? That's where that local expertise of an agent comes in handy. And I think a lot of people kind of miss that. Unfortunately, and as an industry, I think we need to keep that going. I purposely clicked on this random insurance ad, and then the way the Facebook algorithm works, now I'm getting bombarded. I was scrolling through the other day and through the Facebook stories, and out of 25 posts, I think 9 of them were ads for insurance agency. That tells me like, hey, like, and the type of ads that they're running are all price. You're overpaying, your agent's stealing your commissions, or they're not stealing your commissions, but all your premiums going to pay your agent, which is a lot of misinformation out there. I guess what frustrates me is I know that behind those are also lead vendors that turn around and sell those leads back to agents after ripping them to shreds a bit. I think it's important as an industry that we make sure that there's still that localized expertise available. Going on to next phase of your career journey, you're a coach and mentor. Is that specific for insurance agents that you're mentoring and coaching, or?
That's a really good question. The intentionality in the beginning was to coach insurance agents.
Mm-hmm.
2023, I started using ChatGPT. 2024, I wrote the book that you may be able to see behind me, Get AI or Die Trying. And the AI conversations that I'm having with small business owners of many different fields is taking me someplace that I didn't see myself going, but there's a need. I love AI. I use it all the time. I teach others how to use it. I love the speed. I love the efficiency of AI. So I'm a big proponent of it. And it's a conversation that helps me open up to some of my business referral partners. And I definitely will be doing some more in that space. But today, coaching other insurance agents, both captive and independent agents, that's what we do today. But the need for knowledge about how to integrate AI into your system is desperate. People are treating it like another version of Google. It's not. It's significantly better than that.
Yeah.
And people just need an introduction of how to use it, how to be comfortable playing with it. The harder the question, the better the answer.
It can be intimidating, I think.
Mhm.
I mean, the first time you open up ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you want to use, there's tons of tools out there now. Like, where do you even begin? And I think, it's easy to start with like a little bit of content or, ideas, but like I find it to be an amazing like brainstorm partner,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Transparency. I asked it, hey, I'm having a podcast with Kevin Spann. Here's like the 5, 6 questions I had already kind of planned out. Give me a few more in case we run out of topics, right? I
Yes.
can keep pulling back from those.
Yes.
And like it's tremendously helpful. And there's a couple questions in there I did pull from there, and I said, okay, that
Yes.
one's actually better than what I was going to ask.
Yes.
But as a brainstorm partner, especially if you work remotely, you're not at the office where you can turn around and say, hey Nick, like,
Hmm. Yeah.
what about this? It's someone there, even if it's your little robot friend. But just having a sounding board, it's helpful. Always double check your AI's content, but
Yes.
yeah, I find it tremendously helpful. I'm glad you're making it feel a little bit more accessible, and it's completely accessible, I think. But getting your toe in the water, removing some fear from it, and all that, I think is tremendous. As a mentor, you talk to a lot of folks. You see patterns and can
Oh,
probably
yes.
recognize those. What are maybe some of the top couple things that come, especially around the mindset or skills based things that are kind of roadblocks that you consistently observe?
So I would say three. You said mindset. So I think that's first. Just kind of a
Yeah.
leadership mindset. Being stuck a little bit in what used to work. There are a lot of things that used to work great in the insurance industry and other industries. And having the mindset to lead change is a common thing that you come across. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work anymore. It's very frustrating because you're waiting for someone to come along and say, hey, Ray, let me be honest with you. Let me tell you what you're doing wrong here because you're spending the exact same amount of money. You have the exact same amount of people. You're doing the work that you know to be proven to be successful, but it's not working now. Pain point number one. Pain point number two, most common problem across the board is staffing, finding good people to work with. I think people choose, especially now, there's so many choices. I think people choose leaders they want to work with, not necessarily the job, the salary, the benefits, the commission opportunity. So that's number two. And number three, which very equally could and should be number one, is marketing and lead generation. How do I get new business in volume? How do I do it? I used to buy so many live transfers. I've purchased data leads, and there's so many things coming out of insurance agents. Affordability and profitability is a problem, but what
Mm-hmm.
works? What works, and that's the real barrier. That's the real hurdle that many agents struggle with day in and day out. So yeah, I'm mentoring about that, teaching profitable digital strategies to help agencies pivot slowly but surely, and to look past where they are today and really come up with a 2 and 3 year plan, asking hard questions like, what does my agency look like, a few years from now? And how do I staff at that agency, as opposed to overreacting to the loss of a good person that I need to replace with the first person that can fog a mirror on Monday morning. It's a different.
Yeah. Think about, you'd mentioned staffing and finding the right people. Is there a secret, like, to finding the right people? Is there a magic question that you can ask that can kind of help weed the bad seeds out? Is there anything like that?
I don't believe in silver bullets, nor do I play the lottery. I don't think there's any gold. I do think that we need to stop swapping staff as an industry. We're all looking for a licensed candidate with 3 to 5 years experience that can sell 100 items a month. We have to bring new blood into our industry. We have to get younger and faster with young people that can use the technology. Um, the truth of the matter is, many agents don't know this, but I do. I'm such an insurance geek. I do this research. But one third of our industry is going to retire in the next 5 years.
Hmm.
So we have to bring in new people. If we get the right people with the right hunger, and I think there are plenty of them out there, we can teach them insurance, coachability, accountability, passion, integrity, those things we can't teach. So that's where we're looking for all those intrinsic qualities that you can't teach. Insurance is a pretty consistent and repeatable process in terms of how we generate business, but it's the inequalities that we need to recruit for.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. If there's any last thoughts that you have that you'd love to share with our audience, insurance agents, insurance tech folks? Share away. We love
Um,
nuggets of wisdom.
so first, thank you for having me. Appreciate you, Ray.
Yeah.
Appreciate Canopy Connect and all your support and all things. I fell in love and worked with you guys from the first time I heard you on a webinar. So love working with you guys. And for anybody else, if I shared any nuggets, if you'd like to hear anything from me, I'm everywhere online, either as my name, Kevin Spann, full name, Abraham Kevin Spann. If you'd like to follow my podcast, please follow us on YouTube and on podcast platforms everywhere at Wine, Wine, Down with Kev, spelled phonetically. Wine Down with Kev, all one word. I'd love for you to tap in, make some comments. Tell me what you think of these insurance conversations with agents around the country. I'd love to have you click subscribe on YouTube, podcast platforms, wherever you listen to it. I'd love to hear what you think, whether it resonates, whether I should ask better questions.
Yeah, we'll put all the information as much as we can down in the description or comments or whatever those are in whatever platform you find us in. Really appreciate you, Kevin. Thanks so much. You're an ambassador to the industry, and for us at Canopy Connect, we appreciate you.
Thanks, Ray. Appreciate you. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.